a retro gamer and hobbyist artist with a lot of nerve. Crowlister, the master of ponage. Hi guys, Crowlister here with a Nintendo general news update and discussion. So, not that long ago from this recording, we had a general Nintendo Direct, despite having the big Direct about the new console coming up 6 days after that. I recorded this video before the big presentation and plan to publish it just the day before as well. And while I was talking about this on my community section here on my YouTube channel, on one of my posts, I got a comment from one person that inspired me to make this video. So, before we get into that, let's paraphrase what was in the Nintendo Direct that we got to kind of end the month of March and the Switch original as kind of an era. We did get some updates about some new content that'll be involved in Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Pokemon Legends ZA that did not involve the exact release date nor new Mega Evolutions. We did get to see what some of the gameplay is like and some new abilities that Samus will have, though, in Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and a teaser of a new power suit for her. And Pokemon Legends ZA might have revealed what the ZA means in the game's name. It's based on trainer battle rankings. There's a part of the game's story where you go out in certain areas to battle trainers throughout Lumio City, and you're ranking from letter Z up to letter A the more battles you win. So I guess that's what the ZA in the game's name means. Besides them, the only other real Nintendo games that were announced in the presentation, both of which are coming out next year rather than this year, so after the new console, which is going to be backwards compatible, remember, were a new Rhythm Heaven game and a new Tamagotchi Life game, confirming that Nintendo are not done with those franchises. And I personally think that getting a new Rhythm Heaven on the date that it is coming out pretty much confirms thoroughly that we will get a Rhythm Heaven character as a newcomer in the next Super Smash Bros. Game, like I talked about in the previous video. Just fan-made speculation, though. Now, on to the main topic of the video and the comment that I got on the community post. One person said that they were dreading the upcoming presentations rather than anticipating, thoroughly because he's definitely a hardcore gamer, not a casual one, and complains that more recent first-party Nintendo games are a little too easy for the taste. And as a retro gamer, I hear you pessimists. And believe me, I'm very pessimistic as a person. To tell you the truth, I'm not really into a lot of modern games. I prefer a lot of older ones that I grew up with. Pac-Man and other arcade games by Namco, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. Back while I was on the PlayStation, I also played Twisted Metal, a few different games like those. And I got into Mega Man more recently. Unfortunately, except for Pac-Man, all of those franchises are dead and beyond saving. So, that sucks. And I do like some older Nintendo games, like NES dates to like Nintendo 64 dates, and we'll play some of them on YouTube occasionally. Like I did a couple Mario games and some Metroid games, and we'll come out with more. However, to tell you the truth, a lot of more modern games I'm just simply not into playing. So a lot of the games that I have are like remakes of games that I played in the past, or re-releases of games that I played in the past. And I'm not really big on a lot of Nintendo franchises as a whole. I just like Pokemon and Metroid, and maybe a little bit of Mario and Kirby. I'm not really into Zelda. I'm not really into a lot of other different games like those. And to tell you the truth, I'm not into role-playing games in general, except for Pokemon. And the only reason why I like Pokemon as much as I do is because I grew up with that franchise. So, it was one of my earlier feeds into Nintendo. Actually, my earliest, I'd say. And yeah, I definitely agree. Pokemon are kind of screwing up a little bit in the more recent games. Like, there were so many Pokemon that they didn't have any will to bring back every single Pokemon in a main series game from Sword and Shield and onward, which ticked off a lot of people, including myself. And if it wasn't for my second thoughts and deciding to try out Sword and Shield, I would have missed out on the franchise. And they're trying their hardest to make up for that by coming out with funner concepts like the Pokemon Legends games. It's just, you know. And then Scarlet and Violet came out, which on top of having the same problem Sword and Shield had, not having every Pokemon, also turned out to be very buggy and laggy, and just not really a fun game to play in my opinion. So I never bought the DLC for it, and probably never will. And I can agree that Nintendo think they can get away with selling games as incomplete games and just adding free or paid content to them later, which a lot of people are also complaining about with the Switch. You know, they have been making a lot of first-party games that have free or paid content added to them later that should have been in the base game and thought they could get away with it. And people attacked Nintendo for that. Like, they were not having that. And like that one person said, some of Nintendo's later games were, just not like they used to be, and maybe a little, more on the casual side as opposed to the hardcore side. Like, some of the older games that I like the arcade games, a lot of them are super difficult, and I always make it clear that I use save states in my Namco Arcade Let's Plays. Because there are only a few of them that I'm actually really good at in particular, and I'm getting better at some of them. If I were doing the game legitimately, I would say so in the title. However, back to the subject, Nintendo thinking that they can get away with making incomplete games or just getting a little easier with some of them. I totally understand where people would get at there. Totally understand. I only played a few of the more recent Mario games after the Nintendo 64 and didn't like them quite as much as the older ones. So I'm probably on the same boat as you where you're concerned. And like I said, I didn't like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I also didn't like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Yeah, you heard me loud and clear. I'm only playing the game for YouTube because I thought it would be a fun idea to play with the amiibo and make how to draw pictures of the game's characters. And I used to love Smash up to 3DS and Wii U from the beginning, so that's sad. And again, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate can be argued that it was an incomplete game at the moment it came out, because they added Stage Builder and Home Run Contest in later updates during the Fighter's Pass. And the game was just too focused on the Versus mode and the Spirits, the World of Light, which also wasn't that good to play through in my opinion. It was basically just another, Kirby game. A problem which it was made by Kirby's creator, and it's, I just did not enjoy the game, and I didn't like some of the characters that they added in it. That's why I'm so confident that the next Smash could possibly be better. Check out my character speculations video if you haven't already, because I would like for it to get more views so you can hear my thoughts on characters we could possibly see. So yeah, if you're a more competitive gamer as opposed to a casual, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to hate the Switch's successor, the new console, because Nintendo will likely continue making games that are a bit for the casual side. And to tell you the truth, Pokemon actually admitted before that they wanted to make their games more for casuals, which is partly the reason why they made the caves easier to navigate in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire compared to the original Ruby and Sapphire, for example. So maybe they're just listening to the wrong side of the fan base in one's opinion. There are people that support Nintendo for recent decisions, and there are people that oppose them. And no matter how nice you are to the fan base, people are going to disagree with you no matter what you talk about. So, I might as well get some of my unpopular opinions out of the way. I will say this, Metroid Dread was good. I liked Metroid Dread. That was fun to play, and a bit tricky. So, not all games are on the bad side, for sure. I'm just suspecting that Nintendo might or might not have a good lineup for the quote first phase that they're doing for Nintendo games. Then in the second phase for third parties that are supposedly said by insiders and whatnot, and that the presentation will blow some people's minds. So take from it what you will. You can like the new console or not, depending on what you see about it and what you've thought about the Switch, with Nintendo making incomplete games or games that were too easy and boring to play through, or, control stick drift as well. Technical issues like those with the console that hopefully the successor does not have. So, just keep in mind that everybody is entitled to their own opinions, so you can agree with that person that commented on my post or not, depending on if you're a casual or hardcore. I'm a casual personally, and I'm not really into a lot of games in general, even Nintendo. There are only a few franchises that I like, and I just so happen to play a lot more Namco Arcade than any other franchise. So I might have drawn in some more hardcore gamers to my channel for that reason, and I totally understand where you're getting at with that reply. A couple of weeks ago, my channel surpassed 100 subscribers. And I can most certainly tell you this, I've been trying for a little bit more than a year. So I am glad to see that some people are giving me support and that actually want to see some of my videos. Even if a lot of the people that subscribe to my channel did it after I announced that I was leaving DeviantArt before. I returned to DeviantArt because I realized that what I was doing at that moment was totally wrong, and that I was leaving for the wrong reason, and I felt bad about that. So, I did come back to DeviantArt. You can consider that an incentive for me hitting 100 subscribers on YouTube. Another incentive for hitting 100 subs on my channel is that I made a channel banner. I included symbols representing the franchises I like the most in particular, and showing the original characters that I have from my artwork, so anybody from DeviantArt that comes to my YouTube channel will know that's me. And I made sure that the banner would include all the important parts on a mobile device, and some more important parts, less important parts to those, on the computer. So, we got that. And I am trying to upload a bit more consistently. It's just I can only work on videos on certain days while my unruly autistic brother is at a daycare, because he hates my voice. He hates me in general for good reasons. Because I always give him heck for destroying stuff in my house. And he'll whine and kick if he hears my voice. So, my upload schedule is limited for that reason. So I'll try to make more videos in one day and have them in advance on my channel as an unlisted video and then make them public. So I can be a bit more consistent. And it can be as simple as just showcasing a singular picture from my artwork, like I started to do after we got our first update about Pokemon Legends ZA. And I'm glad to see that some people, even on YouTube, are giving me nice feedback for some pictures. The more subscribers I get, the more I'll pick up. And I've been following some advice from other people's videos about how to grow a YouTube channel. And I must say that if you see anybody say that if you turn on a few features or turn off a few features, you'll go viral, that's clickbait. You're not going to exceed 1,000 subscribers and get monetized just because you configure some settings on your YouTube channel. Though if you do configure some of those settings, you may get more subscribers and views on your videos than you did before. Just You have to take stuff with a grain of salt, and you have to consider exaggerations. People always exaggerate stuff in their thumbnails and titles just so people will click on them and get more views. So, do I need to start doing that as well? Maybe. So, yeah. I'll come out with some fan art and gameplay videos, as well as some news videos on my channel as well regarding Nintendo games that I actually play. Like Pokemon and stuff, and other franchises that I'm into as a whole if we ever get updates about them. I will not cover leak and rumor videos because the majority of those are fake anyway, and in the event of a real leak, you could possibly get in trouble talking about it and showing it on social media. So, yeah, no leaks and rumors, just thoughts and speculations about what we actually know. And I am very looking forward to the special presentation on the 2nd of April, as should some of you be. So with that, is going to wrap up this discussion. Thanks for watching, and consider subscribing if you like this video, or any of the franchises that I'm into as you see listed here. I'll be doing a lot of the amiibo battles in Smash and fan art showcasing, and will occasionally do some speculation or thought videos and some gaming videos as well of older games. I have quite a bit planned for my channel, to tell you the truth. And just because I'm about to reach or exceed 500 watchers on DeviantArt does not mean I'm going to be focused entirely there. As opposed to my YouTube channel, I want to do well on both. So, consider checking me out if you're interested in these franchises. So, thanks again for 100 plus subs. I am Coaster Master of Ponage. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next upload.